What's up guys, welcome back to another video here. We have ghosting or time trial ghost following, hugely useful if you use it in the right way. So here we have a video now where we explain a few tips and tricks that I like to use. You can look at the top 10 stars leaderboard and you can download these ghosts. What I like to do is I like to get in early in the week, choose the top 10 time, as often that is more achievable by myself, and I'll download that there. So you just choose the item, choose to download it, and then it's stored in your library. Also worth noting is you can download any replay you see in your activity feed, and it would also appear in your library and can get used in the same way as we are showing in this video here. I'll just go and show you that now. So we'll back to the main menu, go down to my library, there we go, choose my library. When it's loaded up, you go down to replays just here, and then you'll see that in my group of Monza replays there is the lap time that we've just seen on the leaderboard, this one here. So you can choose this one. You can either choose to play it without having to grab it again from the top 10 leaderboards. But there we go, that's the VSR Catfish, very fast driver. So yeah, that replay is now downloaded and stored locally. So even if that top 10 time was to get beaten, you always have that replay saved to reference and load as your ghost lap. Now you go to the regular qualifying time trial. This doesn't work when you're queuing up for a race. It has to be in qualifying time trial. Another good tip with ghost racing is once you find a ghost that you like to race, make sure you save it. Certainly if it's a top 10 ghost, the top 10 leaderboard can change so often, it's best to have it saved locally. So now we've loaded into the qualifying menu. Choose replay from the top just there. Choose load ghost. You'll then be presented with all of the replays you have saved in your library. There can be previous times by yourself. Here we have the VSR Catfish one. We choose to load it. We also have some other options now for the ghost in ghost settings. The first one, that is the loaded ghost. That is the one you've chosen to download. The one below is your personal best ghost. Now that is the personal best ghost within the session. I actually don't find this useful at all because that can vary. If you start a brand new session, you've got to recreate that ghost from scratch. A useful setting is the ghost offset. This basically offsets how far ahead the ghost will start in front of you. Useful if you've got a time you want to catch up to. And then the last one, reset ghost position. That's useful to learn different sectors. So now here we are starting our lap time. We have the ghost loaded already, so as we cross the finish line to start our flying lap, the ghost will start at whichever offset time you chose. So I think in this example we chose 0.1 ahead. So looking to get a wide exit to the final turn to get a good run onto the main straight, carrying as much speed as we can over the line, really important for Monza. And there we have, I think that's actually 0.2. So the ghost is now starting 0.2 ahead of us, and we are following this ghost for the whole lap. So basically, if that ghost is about that far in front of you as you cross the line to finish the lap, you will be bang on target to match their lap time. Exiting the first chicane here, we've got a good exit. Also another tip, you can turn the ghost off live while time trialing. I'll show you the exact settings for that later. Useful for when you're in a situation where the ghost may be distracting. So basically when you're very close to the ghost, if you can get distracted very easily, you could do a few corners with the ghost off and then click the ghost back on to get a bit of a checkpoint reference to how you're doing. Depending on what track I'm on, I will often drive with the ghost barely on at all and just flick it on and off just to get a bit of a checkpoint as to how I'm doing relative to the ghost. Certainly very useful when you're doing a lot of restarts in time trial because the delta doesn't really show. Now what we're about to show here is I've artificially backed off there. The the ghost has gone so far ahead, at the next sector the ghost will reset. So basically the ghost is level with you, and it restarts from that moment. The offset in front is the same as the offset you've already set. This is really useful for learning sector 2 and sector 3. Often when you're racing against top 10 ghosts, they can gap you by anything up to 2 seconds, 3 seconds, certainly when you're early learning the track. So the way I like to go through a process of track learning is to set a fast ghost with me. I'll learn sector 1 as best I can. When I want to start learning sector 2, I will purposely be very slow in sector 1 and then approach sector 2 with race speed, and the ghost will reset. So we basically start racing the ghost from sector 2, and then you can apply the same logic to sector 3 as well. Very useful to basically be racing side by side with the ghost so late in the lap. It's often, without the ghost reset setting on, you can easily just lose touch with the ghost completely, and then you're learning nothing in sector 2 and sector 3. So this is superb tips, I think, for racing the ghost, getting the most out of it. Now, there are people that don't like to drive with a ghost, and that's where I would recommend you still have the ghost loaded, but you have them turned off a lot of the time, and just checkpoint in with them. So here in the settings menu at the top left hand side, choose options, and then go across to controller settings and your player 1 controller. It's important to have the show hide ghost mapped to a button of your choice. I personally use it on the right thumbstick. It's just where it is. I've got used to it being there. Find a convenient place to use it. Obviously only useful in time trial, but it certainly is very useful, certainly when you're trying to push for those extra few tenths of a second. So now we're going to run through you exactly what I did to make improvement in my time. So I loaded a ghost from earlier I found in the week. This guy was 10th in EMEA on Monday. So I saved his replay, I downloaded it, and I enjoyed racing against it. So this is the one that I chose. I decided to offset him to be 0.1 ahead, just to get him in front of me, so I've got some reference point. And then I went for a qualifying session with those settings. Up until this point, I got a 1:55.8. It was a really solid lap time, actually. I was surprised I could get any improvement on that. I have got a 1:55.5 as an optimum, but I can't see how I'm going to get that out of the car. This first lap we did was a real scrappy lap, so we'll just skip ahead this one. Skipping ahead now to the end of the scrappy lap. We'll be starting my flying lap in a moment. You can see the gap to the ghost is quite significant, but he'll reset as we go across the line. We start off with a really wide entry to the main straight, wanting to get as much velocity across the finish line to begin the lap as we can. The ghost I actually had selected was so fast down the main straight on the start, but I was aware of that. Braking on the line, there's a line across the track, carrying second, just first gear into the chicane. A little bit of a wobble on exit, but we've got a really good exit there. The ghost is barely ahead of us, so we know we are on track. That was a superb first chicane, so we're looking on target for a good first sector. I'm ignoring the delta because the delta is relative to the previous lap I set. I'm going with my distance against the ghost, and also on the bottom right hand side you see the delta against my session best, sorry, my car best. So we're up in sector 1. We got through that second chicane really good. Sector 2 was difficult for me. My previous best lap was so good in sector 2. I was nearly always 3 tenths down. So to be this close to the ghost time, I knew I was on for a good lap here. The sector 2 I knew wasn't my best, but as long as it's better than 0.3 down on my previous best, then I know I'm good. As we hit the sector checkpoint, and we're only 0.14 down in that middle sector, difficult through Ascari. I've got a really good line this time and carried good speed on the exit. The ghost is barely getting away. Now the ghost started 0.1 ahead. That's a bit of a gap to the ghost now, maybe a 0.5 overall maybe. So we're on for a good lap, and I know that my last corner in my best lap wasn't very good at all. So we've managed to get it stopped, get it hooked in. When you know you're on a good lap at Monza, stay right to the inside, get straight to the line, just straight drive in, and across the line for a 1:55.7. I was ecstatic with that one. I doubt that's going to get any faster. So yeah, for Monza, if you're exiting the last corner and you want to go for another lap, if you know you're not on a good lap, hang out wide, carry as much speed as you can into your new lap. If you think you're on for a good time, hug the inside and drive straight for that start-finish line. That is the best way to optimise your time. Let's watch that back from the TV camera now. Across the line, carrying the best speed we can out of the final corner and into the new lap. It was pretty good down this main straight at a good speed. Watch out, there is a line across the track. That is where I try and brake, bang on that, or straight down the gears, trail braking in, trying to get the rotation for the left-hander and on the throttle early, just barely clipping the outside of the track. It was a good exit, hugging the inside of the corner around this long sweeping right-hander, full throttle all the way. The braking point we're looking out for here is just before the path. I think it's the 150, hard on the brakes, down to second gear and trail braking in. Difficult to not get a penalty here. I've managed to do it really good, exiting just over the gravel, but you can just get away with that. It doesn't seem to slow too much speed. Through the two Lesmo corners, difficult to get right. I take these in third gear and try and get on the power as early as possible for Lesmo 2. You can run a little bit wide there and get away with it, but the exit of Lesmo 2 is critical to the lap time. It gets you down this straight here. Big braking zone now for this Ascari chicane. You can carry fourth gear through here in the Veyron. It does drop down to very low revs, but that's not a problem for the Veyron. Once you've taken the first part of the Ascari, you're full throttle around the right-hander and then the left-hander onto the straight. Again, exit speed is critical to get you down the straight into Parabolica. Braking earlier than you think at Parabolica, getting down to third gear and trying to get just two wheels onto the curb. It just helps you rotate around. The lap is good, so we hug the inside as much as we can and drive straight from the corner directly to the line, shortest distance possible, and across the line 1:55.7. Superb lap, kicking up the dust as we are basically running off track. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you find these ghost tips useful. Let me know in the comments below if you have any success with using the ghosts, if you like the ghosts or if you don't like them. Always interested to hear your feedback. Catch you later. Bye.